We are continuing our conversation on social norms and now bringing it into the world of finance. So when we think about social norms in the United States, what are these unspoken or unwritten rules of society? Well, there are some kind of unspoken rules that, for whether it's right or wrong, that financially speaking, you're supposed to go to college after school. And there's usually not a lot of debate. And even as a professor at a university, I think there should be more debate. There should be some students who are not doing their work or not pursuing a school and being an electrician or a plumber who are making more dollars per hour than my dentist. So there's a way to make a good living without having to go to school. I digress. The standard default, though, is go to college, and whether or not you have money, you're going to take on debt. So the average loan out of college is roughly $32,000 now. So go to college, take out a loan. Next, once you get out of college, go ahead and reward yourself with a new car. And so most Americans have a car loan. They pay their cars with money that they don't have. And so their car loan is either going to be $500 on average if you buy a used car. So even if you buy a used car, it's $500 a month. And if you buy a new car, the number is on average $730 for a new car. And there's your payment. That's just to drive it. That does not count for your oil or repairs or registration or insurance on it. So this can really add up. But the idea is buy a car. It doesn't matter if you have money, you need to buy a nice car. In addition to the car, the old American dream is buy a house. So take out a 30-year mortgage. Average house is $412,000 here in the United States, and take out a 30-year mortgage. And you have the rest of your working life to pay that off. And then, as you're starting to get comfortable with this reality of paying for your college, paying for your car, having a house payment, make sure, let's get married. Usually you get married around that time, just as you start catching up. And the average wedding, $30,000 here in the United States. I actually presented this in front of 120 sorority sisters at a presentation, and I told them, if you took a fourth of it and had an awesome wedding and party with $7,500 and kept the rest, so just get 15 grand from each side's parents, call it, and then invest $22,500 for roughly 35 or 40 years just in the stock market. Do you know how much that would actually come up to? And I showed them the numbers. It was $1 million. And so anyway, wedding, have a good wedding. And then if you don't have the money, just put it on credit card. Also, have kids. Have your kids 2.08. Don't forget the dog. And they're not that expensive. Just kidding. They get it. Yeah, these are expensive as well. And so the good news is you are supposed to, as a default, you've got all these things and just work for the next 40 years. Work for 40 years to try to pay this off. To pay all this off. Now, does that sound absurd? When you lay it all out like that, yeah, it kind of does. But these are the defaults that are unspoken rules. If you don't believe me, come out to the suburbs here with me and take my kids to soccer, take my kids to school, and you can see all the other cars around. They'll make you wonder to yourself, and your kids are going to ask, hey, Dad, why aren't we driving a new car? Or why don't we have as much money as everybody else? And my answer to them, and I hope other people have this answer, is do you want to look like you're rich or do you actually want to be rich? And so this is, again, going back to changing people's beliefs, is understanding that these defaults need to be overridden. But nevertheless, if we wonder here in the United States, hey, why are 58% to 74%, based on the survey, living paycheck to paycheck, having no savings? My answer is social norms. Our defaults here are putting us in debt, and they're basically putting us to work for our entire lives until we are 65. And then we think we can live on the beach. But that's just when we finally get our heads above water. But because we've worked for 40 years, our bodies are failing us. We're in bad health. So this is where I get really passionate about trying to help people understand getting away from these defaults, or at least deferring some of this consumption, get us out of living paycheck to paycheck. And my biggest motivation around living paycheck to paycheck comes with life purpose. And if you have to work for paycheck to paycheck and make a transition that gives you more purpose or gives you more fulfillment, I want you to take that. But 58 to 74% of people probably can't make that move because they might miss a paycheck. And if they miss a paycheck, then they're going to start getting into serious debt. And that just makes me really, really sad. And so what I'm trying to do, though, is point you in the right direction on why savers are so bad at savings, because we have these defaults. And then also I want to plant that seed that we do not have to do all of these things right away, so that we will work paycheck to paycheck for 40 years. So I'll get off my high horse here, but I just want us to think about that. Our finances here, and then also the way we live with our jobs. And I've got people who are excited for life when they're 22 and they're graduating college. And I want people to be excited for life when they're 32 or 42 or more, that they have a purpose, that they're excited about life. Because too many people, they die when they're 25, they just don't know it. And anyway, I told you I would jump off of this. But I do want to encourage you, not only with finances, but as we're trying to step out of social norms, we need to be comfortable stepping out of these areas. So this is me. I am totally comfortable dressed like this in front of my students. And this is my workout clothes. These are my workout clothes anyway. But just trying to do the small things that is not following the social norms. So if everyone's eating dessert, you skip on dessert. That's a small thing. Everyone's drinking at a party, you're not drinking. That's a real cool thing, and also a small thing, just to test yourself with these things. So when the big decisions are made, you're able to step into that knowing that you're making the right decision. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. I'll go put some regular professor clothes back on, and I'll see you on that next video.